Chosen one, listen to me carefully. I have an urgent and deeply important message to share today, and this message is not for everyone. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if you are not serious about your faith, if you are not willing to grow spiritually, then this video is not for you. But if you are truly one of God's chosen ones, if you strive to walk in obedience, if your heart longs for God's will rather than your own, then this message was meant for you. It reached you at the exact right time, not early, not late, but perfectly on schedule. God is doing something behind the scenes in your life right now, something sacred, something intentional. And today, He wants you to understand why your heart has been prepared in a very specific way. Chosen one, God is preparing you for your soulmate, and the signs are already unfolding around you, even if you haven't fully recognized them yet. If you stay with me until the end of this message, you will gain clarity, peace, and reassurance that will settle your spirit and calm your heart in a way you may not have felt in a long time. Before we continue, chosen ones, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones who need this confirmation. And comment 777 in the comments to declare that you are aligned with God's divine timing and preparation. Section 2. Why God never connects souls before preparing them. Chosen one, I need you to settle your heart for a moment and really hear what I am about to say. One of the greatest misunderstandings among God's people is this idea that love is delayed because something is wrong with them. That is not true. God does not delay what is good to punish you. He delays to protect you. And when it comes to soul connections, God is extremely careful. God never connects two souls before He prepares them individually. Never. Not once. Because love, real love, divine love, is not meant to heal you. It is meant to meet you healed. Too many people try to use relationships as a remedy for wounds only God was meant to touch. And God will not allow His chosen ones to enter a union that becomes a battlefield instead of a blessing. You see, chosen one, attraction is easy, emotion is easy, desire is easy, but spiritual alignment is rare. God does not build relationships the way humans do. Humans connect first and figure things out later. God prepares first, then connects. That is why the waiting season feels so intense. That is why it feels quiet. That is why it feels like nothing is happening, when in reality, everything is happening. God understands something most people ignore. Two unprepared souls, even if they love each other, can destroy each other. Love without maturity becomes control. Love without healing becomes dependency. Love without discernment becomes confusion. So God steps in and says, "Not yet." Not because He is withholding, but because He is refining. There are things God must remove from you before He introduces you to the person meant to walk beside you. Old fears, old insecurities, old emotional habits, old attachment patterns. God knows that if He connects you too early, you may cling instead of love, chase instead of choose, fear loss instead of trusting Him. And that is not the foundation He builds on. Chosen one, this is why God often allows loneliness before love. Loneliness teaches you how to stand without leaning. It teaches you how to hear God without distractions. It teaches you how to sit with yourself without needing constant validation. And until you can be at peace alone, you are not ready to walk in peace with another soul. Many people rush relationships because they are tired of waiting. But rushing is dangerous for the chosen. You are not called to survive relationships. You are called to steward them. God does not give sacred assignments to unprepared hands. That includes marriage. That includes divine partnerships. That includes soulmates. Let me say this clearly. If God has not connected you yet, it is not because you are forgotten. It is because you are valuable. Cheap things are handed out quickly. Precious things are guarded carefully. God also knows the weight of destiny attached to your life. Your soulmate is not just someone to love you. They are someone who must understand your calling, respect your convictions, and walk in alignment with your faith. That kind of union cannot be built on surface-level attraction. It must be built on depth, and depth takes time. This is why some relationships you prayed for did not work. God could see what you could not. He could see how that connection would have drained you, distracted you, or diminished your spiritual authority. So he stepped in. Not to hurt you, to spare you. Chosen one, you must stop interpreting delay as denial. Delay is instruction. Delay is preparation. Delay is God saying, there is more work to be done in you before I introduce you to what you have been asking for. And here is something many do not like to hear, but it is truth. God cares more about who you become than who you marry, because who you become determines how you love, how you lead, how you forgive, and how you remain faithful. If God rushed your blessing before your character was ready, the blessing would break you. That is why God prepares souls in private. No applause, no announcements, no explanations, just quiet transformation. And most people cannot handle quiet seasons. They mistake silence for abandonment. But silence is where God does his deepest work. Chosen one, if you feel like you have been hidden, it is because you are being formed. If you feel like relationships keep slipping away, it is because God is protecting your future union. If you feel like you are being taught patience in ways you never asked for, it is because patience is required for what is coming. God is not careless with love, especially not with yours. He knows exactly who is meant for you, and he knows exactly when you will be ready to receive them without fear, insecurity, or confusion. Until then, he works on you, gently, firmly, faithfully. So rest your heart. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not forgotten. You are in preparation. And God does not waste preparation seasons. Section 3. The inner work God is doing in you right now. Chosen one. If you have felt different lately, quieter on the inside, more reflective, more aware of your emotions than you used to be, I want you to understand something very clearly. That is not confusion. That is not weakness. That is God's work happening beneath the surface of your life. God prepares his chosen ones from the inside out, always. Before he changes your circumstances, he changes your inner structure. Before he brings someone into your life, he reshapes the way you think, feel, and respond. And this inner work can feel uncomfortable, unfamiliar, even lonely at times. But it is necessary. Right now, God is teaching you emotional maturity. He is teaching you how to pause instead of react, how to observe instead of assume, how to listen instead of chase. You may have noticed that things which once triggered you no longer have the same power. Situations that used to shake you now only teach you. That is growth. That is preparation. God is also healing old wounds you did not even realize were still influencing you. Wounds from rejection, from abandonment, from being misunderstood, from giving too much to people who gave too little in return. These wounds once shaped your expectations in relationships. They made you tolerate less than you deserved. They made you confuse attention with love. God is gently dismantling those patterns now. You may have noticed that you no longer crave constant reassurance. You are no longer desperate to be chosen by someone else. Instead, you are learning how to choose yourself with dignity and faith. This shift is not accidental. God is restoring your sense of worth so you do not enter your next relationship begging for what should be freely given. Another sign of God's inner work is discernment. Chosen one, you see things more clearly now. You feel energy before words. You sense intentions before actions. What once confused you now becomes obvious. You can tell when something is off without needing proof. That is not paranoia. That is spiritual maturity. God is sharpening your discernment because your soulmate will not come into your life through chaos or confusion. They will come through clarity and peace. And God cannot place a peaceful connection into a chaotic inner world. So he calms you first. You may also notice that you are less interested in shallow conversations and surface-level connections. You crave depth now, meaning, truth, purpose. Small talk feels exhausting. Emotional games feel pointless. This is because God is aligning your appetite with what is real. Your soul is no longer satisfied with distractions. God is also teaching you how to sit with yourself. This is one of the hardest lessons for many people. Being alone without feeling lonely. Being quiet without feeling empty. being still without feeling anxious. But this lesson is powerful, because when you learn how to be whole alone, you will not enter love trying to be completed by another person. Chosen one, God does not want you to love from emptiness. He wants you to love from fullness. He wants you to give, not grasp, to choose, not cling, to walk beside someone, not lean on them for identity. You might feel like God has slowed you down, like He has removed distractions, like He has reduced your circle. This is intentional. Noise interferes with inner transformation. God creates space so He can speak clearly to you. And in that space, He rebuilds your confidence quietly. Confidence formed by God is not loud. It is not arrogant. It does not seek validation. It is calm. It is steady. It knows who it is without needing applause. That is the kind of confidence required to steward a divine relationship. God is also teaching you boundaries, strong ones, healthy ones. You no longer explain yourself to people who misunderstand you intentionally. You no longer chase closure. You no longer overextend your energy to prove your worth. This is not coldness, this is wisdom. Chosen one, boundaries protect what God is preparing. If you did not learn boundaries now, your future relationship would suffer later. God is preventing future pain by teaching present discipline. Another layer of the inner work is patience. And I know this one is not easy. Patience stretches you. It exposes impatience, control, and fear. But patience is essential, because love that lasts is not rushed. It is chosen daily. God is training your spirit to wait without resentment, to trust without proof, and to hope without anxiety. You may have noticed that your prayers have changed. You no longer beg God to send someone quickly. Instead, you ask God to prepare you correctly. That is maturity. That is alignment. That is a sign that your heart is becoming safe for what you are asking for. God is also shifting your focus toward purpose. You are becoming more intentional with your time, more selective with your energy, more aware of your calling. This is important, because your soulmate will not distract you from your purpose. They will support it. And God must prepare you to recognize that kind of support. Chosen one, inner work is invisible to others, but it transforms everything. People may not notice what has changed in you, but they will feel it. Your presence will feel calmer. Your words will carry weight. Your energy will feel grounded. And when the right person enters your life, they will recognize this immediately. Do not rush this season. Do not resist this work. God is not stripping you of joy. He is removing what no longer serves your future. He is shaping you into someone who can love without fear, choose without desperation, and remain faithful without losing themselves. You are not being delayed. You are being developed. And when God finishes this inner work, you will look back and realize that this season was not empty. It was sacred. Section 4. Signs. God is separating you from distractions before union. Chosen one. There is a phase that always comes before divine union, and it often confuses people who do not understand how God works. It is the season of separation, not punishment, not abandonment. Separation. And if you are experiencing this right now, I want you to stop fighting it and start understanding it. God always removes what cannot go where He is taking you. Always. Before He adds, He subtracts. Before He connects, He clears. And this clearing process can feel uncomfortable because it involves people, habits, environments, and emotional patterns you once felt attached to. One of the clearest signs God is separating you from distractions is a sudden emotional detachment from people you once cared deeply about. You did not argue. You did not fight. You did not explain yourself. The connection just faded. And strangely, instead of pain, you felt peace. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. God removes people quietly when drama would distract you from healing. Loud endings are not always divine. Silent endings often are. You may notice that friendships no longer feel nourishing. Conversations feel repetitive. the same complaints, the same cycles, the same emotional chaos, and your soul feels tired afterward. This is because you are outgrowing environments God never intended you to stay in forever. Chosen one, growth requires separation. You cannot become who God is forming you to be while staying emotionally tied to versions of yourself you have already outgrown. Another sign is reduced tolerance for emotional games. What you once entertained now irritates you. Mixed signals drain you. Inconsistency frustrates you. You no longer want to guess where you stand. This is not impatience. This is discernment. God is teaching you to value clarity because your future relationship will be built on peace, not confusion. God also begins to distance you from counterfeit connections. These are people who feel familiar but are not aligned. They trigger old patterns. They pull you back into emotional cycles God has already delivered you from. You may feel tempted to reconnect out of comfort, but every time you do, your spirit feels heavy afterward. That heaviness is information. Chosen one, God does not always speak in words. Sometimes he speaks through how your spirit responds after an interaction. You may also experience increased solitude, fewer invitations, fewer calls, less social noise. And while this can feel lonely at first, it becomes peaceful once you stop resisting it. Solitude is where God strengthens your inner foundation. It is where he realigns your desires. It is where he detoxes your heart from dependency. God knows something important. If you are constantly surrounded by noise, you will confuse attention with connection. Silence reveals truth. Another sign of divine separation is that you feel misunderstood, but you are no longer desperate to explain yourself. You let people think what they want. You are secure enough to know who you are. This is emotional maturity. God is teaching you to stop proving your worth to people who were never meant to validate you. Chosen one, the person meant for you will understand you without interrogation. God is separating you from people who constantly questioned your intentions, minimized your faith, or doubted your calling. You may also notice that God is removing distractions related to romance. Opportunities that once excited you now feel empty. Attention that once boosted your ego now feels shallow. You are no longer impressed by surface-level charm. This is because God is refining your taste. Refinement always feels like loss before it feels like gain. Some people experience this season as boredom. Others experience it as frustration. But if you sit with it long enough, it becomes clarity. God is narrowing your focus so you do not settle for what is convenient instead of what is consecrated. Chosen one, separation hurts when you are attached to what God is trying to remove. But once you release it, peace follows. Always. Peace is the confirmation. Another sign is that you feel protected from making impulsive decisions. Things fall through, plans cancel, conversations end abruptly, and later you realize how much trouble you were spared. God is actively shielding you from emotional entanglements that would have delayed your preparation. God's protection does not always feel gentle. Sometimes it feels like disruption, but disruption saves you from devastation. You might also notice that your standards are rising, not because you feel superior, but because you finally see your worth clearly. You no longer negotiate your values. You no longer chase unavailable people. You no longer romanticize potential. This is not pride. This is wisdom. Chosen one, God cannot bring you a divine partner while you are still entertaining distractions. He will remove the distractions first, because divided attention creates divided outcomes. This separation season is also teaching you trust. Trust in God's timing, trust in God's judgment, trust that what is removed is making room for what is coming. If God allowed certain people to leave your life, it is because they could not walk with you into the next season. And let me say this clearly. God does not remove people who are aligned with your destiny. He removes those who would eventually become burdens. Chosen one, do not chase what God has disconnected. Do not reopen doors God has closed. Every closed door is protection. Every ending is instruction. You are not losing anything real. You are being prepared for something sacred. This separation is not the end of your story. It is the clearing before the connection. It is the pruning before the union. And when God finishes removing what does not belong, what does belong will arrive with clarity, peace, and confirmation. Trust the separation. It is making room for your soulmate. Section 5. The soulmate preparation signs you can't ignore. Chosen one, now we come to a sacred moment in this message, because there are signs God releases when preparation is nearing completion. Not loud signs, not dramatic signs, but quiet confirmations that settle deep in your spirit. And if you are paying attention, you will recognize yourself in what I am about to say. One of the clearest signs God is preparing you for your soulmate is this unexpected emotional calm. Not numbness, not indifference. Calm. You are no longer anxious about being alone. You are no longer counting days or questioning God every night. There is a deep sense of peace forming within you, even though nothing on the outside has changed yet. That peace is not accidental. Peace is alignment. God never prepares you for something new by filling you with anxiety. He prepares you with assurance. Another sign is that desperation has left you. You still desire love, but you no longer chase it. You no longer feel incomplete without it. You are content, yet expectant. This balance is rare, and it only forms when God has healed the part of you that once feared being alone. Chosen one, when God knows you will not idolize love, He knows you are ready to receive it. You may notice that your standards have become clearer, not harsher. You are not demanding perfection. You are simply unwilling to tolerate misalignment. You no longer confuse chemistry with compatibility. You no longer excuse inconsistency. You value peace over excitement, depth over charm, integrity over attention. This clarity is one of the strongest indicators that preparation is almost complete. God does not bring a divine partner into a confused heart. Another sign is heightened spiritual sensitivity. You are more aware of God's presence. Your prayers feel more honest. Your faith feels less performative and more personal. You are not trying to impress God. You are walking with Him. This matters because divine connections are sustained by spiritual intimacy, not emotional dependency. You may also experience a deep sense of completion within yourself. You feel whole, not because you have everything figured out, but because you trust God with what you do not understand. You no longer feel like something is missing. Instead, you feel like something is being aligned. Chosen one, wholeness attracts wholeness. Another sign is that you are no longer attracted to people who mirror your wounds. In the past, brokenness may have felt familiar. Chaos may have felt exciting. Now, peace feels attractive. Stability feels desirable. Emotional availability feels safe. This shift is crucial. God does not want you repeating cycles. He wants you building something new. God also begins to confirm this season in subtle ways, through scripture that speaks directly to your situation, through moments of clarity during prayer, through an inner knowing that does not come from logic. You may not hear a voice, but you feel a certainty, a quiet confidence that says something is aligning. Chosen one, God often whispers before He reveals. You may notice that your energy has changed. People respond to you differently. Conversations feel deeper. You are more present, less reactive, more grounded. This is because inner stability has replaced emotional turbulence, and stability is essential for divine partnership. Another powerful sign is that you are no longer trying to control outcomes. You trust God enough to release timelines. You are no longer asking when. You are asking who you are becoming. This shift signals readiness, because control is rooted in fear, and fear cannot steward love. God also prepares you by aligning your purpose. You feel more connected to your calling, more intentional with your time, less distracted by trivial things. This matters because your soulmate will not compete with your purpose. They will complement it. Chosen one, God does not give purpose-driven people emotionally draining partners. You may also feel a strange sense of expectancy without urgency. You are not searching, yet you are open. You are not waiting passively, yet you are not forcing movement. This posture is powerful. It signals trust. Another sign is forgiveness. You are releasing past resentment, not because others apologized, but because you no longer want to carry emotional weight into your future. God cannot build something new on unresolved bitterness. Forgiveness clears the ground. Chosen one, forgiveness is not about the past. It is about protecting the future. You may also notice that your prayers are less about getting and more about becoming. You ask God to align your heart, to purify your intentions, to prepare you to love well. This is maturity. This is readiness. God also removes the fear of missing out. You are no longer afraid that everyone else is ahead of you. You are no longer comparing timelines. You trust that your path is intentional. This freedom is a sign that your heart is no longer driven by scarcity. Scarcity mindset cannot sustain divine love. Another sign is emotional steadiness. You are not riding highs and lows constantly. You are regulated, balanced, present. This emotional health is essential because love requires consistency, not intensity. Chosen one, intensity fades. Consistency lasts. You may also sense that God is protecting your heart from unnecessary attachments. You are not easily impressed. You are not easily pulled. You are anchored. And anchoring is required before union. There is also a growing confidence that does not seek validation. You are secure in who you are. You know your worth without needing affirmation. This confidence is quiet. It does not announce itself. It simply exists. God prepares you to be chosen by teaching you how to choose wisely. Another sign is that your intuition is sharper. You sense alignment or misalignment quickly. You trust your discernment. You no longer override inner warnings for temporary comfort. This protects your future relationship from unnecessary strain. Chosen one, discernment is love's guardian. You may also feel that God is closing certain desires. Things you once wanted no longer matter. Certain expectations dissolve. This simplifies your heart, and simplicity allows clarity. God does not complicate what He is preparing to bless. And finally, there is this deep knowing. Hard to explain, impossible to fake. You feel that you are being positioned, not postponed, prepared, not punished, that something meaningful is approaching, not because you feel lonely, but because you feel ready. Chosen one, when God prepares you for your soulmate, He does not excite your emotions, He steadies your spirit. Do not ignore these signs. They are not coincidences. They are confirmations. You are not waiting aimlessly. You are being aligned intentionally. And when the time comes, love will not arrive with confusion. It will arrive with peace. That is how you will know it is from God. Section 6. Why your soulmate is also being prepared in silence. Chosen one, there is a truth you must hold gently but firmly in your heart. While God is working on you, He is also working on the person meant for you. And just like your season, their preparation is happening quietly, away from attention, away from noise, away from shortcuts. God does not prepare soulmates in public. He prepares them in silence. Silence is where depth is formed. Silence is where motives are purified. Silence is where God removes what would corrupt a future union. If you feel hidden right now, understand this. So are they. God prepares both souls separately, because each must be whole before they are joined. Union does not fix brokenness. It reveals it. That is why God refuses to connect two people who are still bleeding. He heals first. He grounds first. He teaches obedience, patience, and discernment first. Your soulmate is learning lessons you cannot see. They are unlearning habits you never knew existed. They are shedding old fears, old expectations, old patterns that would have clashed with yours if God had connected you too early. And God is doing this without your involvement, because preparation requires privacy. Chosen one, divine connections are not built through mutual searching. They are built through mutual surrender. This is why God does not let soulmates find each other while they are still looking everywhere. Searching often comes from lack. God aligns paths when both hearts are anchored in Him, not when they are scanning the world for fulfillment. You might wonder why God does not allow signs about the other person, why he does not reveal names, faces, or timelines. It is because knowing too much too early would shift your focus from becoming to waiting. And waiting with fixation delays alignment. God wants your attention on growth, not on guessing. Your soulmate is being strengthened in areas you once struggled with, and you are being strengthened in areas they once struggled with. This balance is intentional. God creates partnerships where both can support without dependency, where both can lead and follow without competition. Chosen one, your future relationship will not be built on rescue. It will be built on respect. Your soulmate is learning how to love without control, how to communicate without manipulation, how to remain faithful without fear. And you are learning the same lessons from different angles. God uses different experiences to teach the same truths. This is why your stories will complement each other, not mirror each other. God also protects both of you from crossing paths too soon. Missed encounters, delayed plans, different seasons. These are not accidents. God knows that meeting too early would create longing without readiness. And longing without readiness leads to compromise. Chosen one, God does not tease his children. He times encounters with precision. Your soulmate is also being taught patience. They are learning how to trust God with unanswered prayers. They are learning how to stand firm without rushing into distractions. They are learning how to say no to what feels good, but is not aligned. You may feel like you are carrying the weight of waiting alone, but you are not. There is another soul, somewhere, learning the same discipline, praying similar prayers, surrendering similar fears. You may not know their name, but God knows both of you intimately. God is also aligning values, faith, integrity, vision, emotional availability. These things cannot be negotiated later. They must be formed now, and formation takes time. Chosen one, compatibility is not discovered. It is cultivated. This is why God allows both of you to experience disappointment before union. Disappointment teaches discernment. It teaches humility. It teaches gratitude. Without disappointment, you would not recognize peace when it arrives. Your soulmate is learning what they will never accept again, and so are you. This shared clarity will create safety when you finally meet. God is also removing pride. Both of you are learning that love is not about being impressive. It is about being present, not about winning arguments, about preserving unity, not about being admired, about being trustworthy. These lessons cannot be rushed. You may feel tempted to believe that your soulmate has already found someone else, or that you are being left behind. That is fear speaking, not faith. God does not miss. God does not forget. God does not misplace souls. Chosen one, what is meant for you cannot be taken by someone else. If God has promised alignment, he will guard it fiercely. He will close doors. He will redirect paths. He will delay introductions. All to ensure that when you meet as prepared individuals, not as emotional projects. Your soulmate is not being prepared to complete you. They are being prepared to walk with you, side by side, equal in worth, aligned in purpose, grounded in faith. God does not give his chosen ones unstable partners. He gives them partners who can withstand pressure, carry responsibility, and protect peace. This preparation in silence also protects the sacredness of the union. What is built quietly lasts longer than what is announced loudly. God is teaching both of you to value privacy, not secrecy, depth, not display. Chosen one, when the time comes, the meeting will feel natural, not dramatic, not forced. There will be recognition, not confusion, calm, not chaos, peace, not pressure. That peace is the result of two souls who were prepared separately but aligned intentionally. So do not worry about where they are. Do not imagine delays as detours. Do not assume God has forgotten your desire. He is refining it. Stay focused on who you are becoming. Stay rooted in faith. Stay open without chasing. because while you are growing quietly, so are they. And when God decides the time is right, silence will turn into connection, preparation will turn into union, and waiting will turn into gratitude. Trust the process. God is preparing both of you with care. Section 7. What you must do and not do while God prepares this union. Chosen one, now listen to me carefully, because this part requires obedience, not emotion. What you do in this season matters just as much as what God is doing behind the scenes. Preparation is not passive. Waiting does not mean drifting. There are things you must do, and there are things you must stop doing if you want to step into this union with clarity and peace. First, you must stay rooted in your purpose. Do not make love your assignment. Love is not your mission. Becoming who God called you to be is. When you chase purpose, alignment follows. When you chase people, confusion follows. God does not bring soulmates to people who abandon their calling out of loneliness. Chosen one, your future partner will respect your purpose because they will recognize God in it. Second, guard your emotional energy. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not everyone needs to hear your fears, hopes, or desires. Oversharing creates emotional bonds God never authorized. You must learn to keep sacred things sacred. Privacy protects preparation. Do not entertain conversations that drain you. Do not engage in emotional back and forth that leads nowhere. God is teaching you discernment, so you stop giving away pieces of yourself to people who cannot steward them. Another thing you must do is resist counterfeit connections. These are people who show up when you feel lonely, not when you are aligned. They feel familiar, but they are not assigned. They awaken old patterns God has already healed. And while they may feel comforting in the moment, they will delay what God is preparing. Chosen one, comfort is not confirmation. If someone pulls you away from peace, clarity, or spiritual focus, they are not part of your preparation. God never sends distractions disguised as blessings. You must learn to say no without explanation. Obedience does not require justification. Now let me tell you what you must not do. Do not rush God with timelines. Do not pressure him with comparisons. Do not poison your peace by watching everyone else's life and assuming you are behind. Comparison creates impatience, and impatience leads to compromise. God is not working on your schedule. He is working on your structure. Another thing you must not do is romanticize potential. Stop imagining who someone could become if they healed, matured, or changed. God does not give chosen ones projects. He gives them partners. Love built on potential creates disappointment. Love built on alignment creates peace. You must also stop revisiting closed doors. Do not reopen connections God intentionally removed. Every time you look back, you slow forward movement. God closed those doors because what was behind them could not walk with you into the next season. Chosen one, what God removes does not need closure. Removal is the closure. You must strengthen your spiritual habits in this season. Prayer, reflection, stillness, not ritual. Relationship. God wants you grounded in him, not just informed about him. Your connection with God will set the tone for your connection with your soulmate. Love that lasts is sustained by faith, not feelings. Another important instruction is this: learn patience without passivity. Patience does not mean sitting idle. It means trusting while moving forward responsibly. Build your life, improve your health, strengthen your character, invest in your growth. Preparation includes becoming emotionally available, spiritually grounded, and mentally stable. Chosen one, God prepares relationships by preparing individuals. You must also practice gratitude. Gratitude keeps your heart soft. It keeps you aware of what God is already doing. Complaining about what you lack blinds you to what is forming. Gratitude shifts your focus from absence to alignment. Do not speak negatively about your waiting season. Words have weight. Speak life over this time. Speak purpose. Speak peace. This season is not empty. It is active, even when it feels quiet. Another thing you must avoid is forcing connections. Do not chase signs. Do not analyze every interaction. Do not turn every conversation into a possibility. God does not require your help to orchestrate divine encounters. Forced movement creates false starts. Chosen one, what is from God does not need to be pushed. You must also protect your standards. Do not lower them out of fear that you might miss something. God set those standards in you for a reason. Compromise always looks harmless at first, but it creates regret later. Your soulmate will meet your standards naturally. You will not have to negotiate your values to keep them. Another instruction is emotional regulation. Learn how to sit with discomfort without reacting. Learn how to process feelings without projecting them onto others. Emotional maturity is not suppressing emotions. It is managing them wisely. God is teaching you this now, so your future relationship is not driven by mood, insecurity, or fear. You must also let God surprise you. Release rigid expectations about how, when, or where this connection will happen. God often works outside your imagination. When you release control, you make room for confirmation. Chosen one, control limits what faith can receive. Do not isolate yourself out of fear. Solitude is healthy. Isolation is not. Stay connected to God-centered community. Not to seek validation, but to remain balanced. Preparation is not hiding from the world. It is engaging wisely. Finally, remain open without becoming anxious. Hope without obsession. Desire without desperation. Faith without pressure. This posture tells God that you trust Him. Chosen one, trust is the final test before alignment. If you can walk through this season without forcing, chasing, settling, or compromising, you are closer than you realize. God does not withhold love from those who are ready to steward it. Stay faithful, stay grounded, stay obedient. Because what God is preparing is not fragile, and neither are you. This season is shaping you for a love that brings peace, not confusion, stability, not struggle. And when the time comes, you will look back and thank God that He taught you how to wait wisely. Section 8. Conclusion. You are not behind. You are being positioned. Chosen one, I want you to breathe for a moment and let this truth settle into your spirit. You are not behind in life. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned with precision. God does not rush what He intends to last, and He does not mishandle the hearts of His chosen ones. Everything you have experienced, the waiting, the silence, the separation, the inner work, it was never meant to weaken you. It was meant to prepare you. God was not withholding love from you. He was protecting you from confusion, pain, and misalignment. And now, you are standing in a season where peace is stronger than fear, clarity is stronger than emotion, and faith is stronger than impatience. Chosen one, when God prepares you for your soulmate, He does not send chaos. He sends calm. He does not bring confusion. He brings confirmation. And He does not arrive late. He arrives right on time. You do not need to chase what God has already assigned. You do not need to force what God is already aligning. Stay rooted, stay faithful, stay obedient. The same God who shaped your heart in private knows exactly how and when to connect it in public. Trust Him, rest in Him, and know this with certainty. What is meant for you will meet you in peace, not pressure. Before you go, chosen ones, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones who need this confirmation today. And comment 777 in the comments to declare that you trust God's timing and you are aligned with His preparation. Until next time, stay grounded, stay faithful, and remember this. God is not delaying you. He is preparing something worthy of you.